to the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show, coming to you live from the Salisbury Center Studios in Manassas, Virginia, fueled by Monster Energy.
Always.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yes.
We got our first, not the first act of the night, but the first act in the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show in our studio right now.
For Classic Rock Night.
For Classic Rock Night on Friday night and a weekend full of rock and roll.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have this night tonight. You're watching and you don't have tickets, get tickets and come down right now. And if you don't have tickets for tomorrow is the Local Palooza featuring Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
Yep.
Yes. So get down for that.
Two great nights of music. Well, tomorrow's all day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a lot of hours of music.
And we'd like to welcome back into the studio with us right now, Medicine Man.
What's up?
How's it going, guys?
What's up, man?
Medicine Man is back here to rock you out, funk you up, and everything in between. That's right. Yeah, a little bit of energy. Calm down, calm down.
He was practicing that.
I was going to say, it sounded rehearsed, dude. That was good.
That wasn't the first time. No.
Come on, man. What do you think? I sit in front of the mirror. Oh, we're going to be interviewed tomorrow.
Yes, we do.
Just in case. It's the energy. Come on, see it out there.
There you go.
We're pumped.
He's a monster.
It's the Monster Energy.
Fueled by Monster.
Fueled by Monster.
There you go.
Heard it out there, though. Good sound check.
Yeah.
You guys are super smooth.
great.
Always smooth, super smooth rock and roll.
Thank you much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sounding good. So, like, how you guys been? Like, I know there's been a lot of shows since your last show here and last time we talked to you. So how's that been going for you?
Good. We're getting a good response. We're seeing more familiar faces the more we play. So it's going the right direction for sure.
Absolutely.
We're also seeing new faces, so people are coming out to see us as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like
bringing their friends.
You'll see some people one time, then they're back the next.
Yeah.
And then they're back the next. And
Excellent.
it's,
Building the fire.
Absolutely.
I guess that's how you're supposed to do it.
I think that's the formula.
Not the other direction when people are not showing
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
I've been there, done that with other bands. We play for friends and family.
Why is everybody leaving?
I think it's the atmosphere. We create the atmosphere of fun. I mean, that's why we play. We don't play for ourselves. We play to entertain.
Yeah.
That's why we play so many different styles. You know, it's a classic night, but we're gonna hear it. But I was talking to Mike the other night. I said, we do a lot of dance stuff. We do a little bit of classic. He goes, yeah, but the dance stuff we do is classics.
Yeah.
Classic dance
Points.
stuff.
Yeah.
Points.
Yeah.
It's classic.
Yeah.
Rock and dance stuff.
And original, because your namesake song. That's a
Yeah.
great song. I love that song.
Starting off the
Thank
night
you,
right.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's
And
cool. I love it.
We've been doing a little bit more of that. Trying to get there, trying to get the time to write. And it's coming along, but it's a process, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
You know, we're hoping to have an album's worth soon, but we'll see what happens.
Or at least an EP.
No hurry. Right?
Release 3
Don't rush
songs.
it.
And,
Yeah.
You can't rush it. It's got to come together.
Yeah, sure.
Well, no, and I, you know, and that's one of these things with it being 2023 that wasn't there back in the 90s and, of course, the 80s. But, you know, these bands, they come out, they write a song, and they release it right away because you can do that online. You know, stream it everywhere.
Yeah.
And we're just not going to do that. You know, I think Mike's got
We're gonna-
different
we're gonna
ideas. I
have
think
an
we have
album.
different
Yeah.
ideas.
And come out with the album.
Sure. So that's interesting because, you know, and we talked about this with Jimmy Haha from Jimmy's Chicken Shack a couple weeks ago. You know, they just released a new album called Seconds, and I had a hard time finding it. You know, they have a website, but not a lot of content on the website. So it was like, dude, where is this album at? And they have it on their Bandcamp site, and they're like, we're not just going to put it up on Spotify or Apple Music and just give it out for free. So
they get robbed.
And do you know why? Do you know why? Because Jimmy Haha is Jimmy Haha. Met him many times, played with him back in the day at the Bayou. And those cats do it old school. They always have. I mean, they were real young back when we were doing the Bayou with them. But Jimmy Haha is the man. Very personable. His outside of music life is phenomenal. And he's just a character. So, yeah, he's going to do it old school.
yeah. Well, and I mean, it seems that, it's an old school approach, but it's still seemingly a smart approach because I didn't realize this, you know, because it used to be on radio. Anytime one of your songs was played, that was tracked through ABSCAP, and you were getting some residuals.
Right.
When you put something up on Spotify, it's gone.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
You sign it away, basically.
yeah. So it makes sense to do it that way because, you know, you do want to make some money off of the things you create.
It depends on what you want. I mean, I want something that we can be proud of, and if people want to listen to it, they can listen to it. I mean, you know, we're all older now. I just want to make music, something I can be proud of. That's all.
Yeah, have fun.
No,
And have fun playing it.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
That's the
I
most
don't
important
care.
part.
Yeah.
My delusions of grandeur were over
Yeah.
20,
Years ago.
30 years ago. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Mine are just delusions. So.
He's got a point.
I think with the internet taking so much of the business, I think the bands are actually relying more on their touring. Mm-hmm. That's where they're going to make.
Yeah,
the
so
money.
they throw the music on Spotify to get hits.
Right.
And that gets them. You know, I get how they're doing it, but they're still getting robbed.
Right.
Fire! Why is there so
You guys
much
are
fire?
so white hot. You set off all the alarms.
Nowadays, if you set yourself up right, like
Fire.
I've always been a Pandora fan
Yeah.
because like I'll practice along with their set lists on Pandora, and I can play through the PA and have all my music right there. But Pandora, you set yourself up right with your originals. Like there are so many bands on Pandora,
Yeah.
and when you come to a streaming, whether it's Pandora, Amazon, whoever. Man, if you can set things up right,
Right, but
everybody on the planet will know who is this?
Well, they
band?
just
Absolutely.
they want to
Yeah.
be heard by as many people as they can. If you get heard by the right person, then you get picked up on a festival somewhere, and then it can balloon from there. I mean, that's the way they're doing it. I see what they're doing.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's true because, like, you know, we're huge fans of Dirty Honey. So I have listened to them on Spotify, and it'll list 4 or 5 other bands that are like them,
Right, similar to him, yeah.
and generally newer bands too. So that I like that aspect to it because I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's
what's this
great.
band?
You listen to one band you like, and you get a dozen of newer music that you would never even think
Sure.
of thought of.
You're
listening
picking your
to.
phone up every 5 minutes. Who is this? Who is this? It's all kinds of like cool music. So
Yeah.
We played a wedding in New Jersey, like, a month and a half ago or whatever, and I drove up there with Steve, and he had that going on. He was like, dude, listen to
Steve's
this.
fun list.
Dude, listen to this.
We drove to New Jersey, and halfway back before my fun list ended, I was like, wow, 6 hours of just.
And it was just, I told him, dude, you got to send me a song. Dude, you got to send me a song. Dude, you got to send me a song.
Then
And now
Ray
I have a
didn't
list.
kill himself.
It's on bands. Jason Bonham. What's the name of Jason Bonham's band that he's in?
Black Country Communion with
Black Country Communion.
Dope.
Haven't heard it? Listen to it.
Joe
Phenomenal.
Bonamassa, Glenn Hughes,
Bonamassa.
Right.
the
Yes.
keyboard player
Jeez.
from the original keyboard player from what the hell's that band? Derek Sherinian. They're just incredible.
I was blown
Incredible.
backwards.
Black Country Communion is like, Glenn Hughes goes back to Deep Purple. I think it was Mark III, and he hasn't lost a step at all. Right. The dude still has an incredible range, and a lot of people don't understand. He's a hell of a bass player.
Right. Yeah.
He's a wicked bass player.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But Pandora is really cool because you can get, if you can get on Pandora, you're around the world.
All of them pretty much do that same
Yeah.
thing. They'll link bands together.
The algorithm.
Yeah.
What's the algorithm?
Who the
gonna
hell is
feed you?
this? Who's this?
Well, and I think more what I'm talking about is I don't think we want to do is just like take your first song that you wrote and it's awesome, put it everywhere, and then hit Facebook and say, all right, everybody go and download it, Look
Right.
at this,
And then do another one, and then
Right.
I just want a body of work and throw
That's
it
right.
out
A
there.
body of work. That's
I don't
well
care
put.
if it sells,
Yeah.
whatever. Just something we can be proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Here's an album, a punch in the face. Here's your 10 songs.
All right, so we're gonna shift gears on you guys a little bit. If you're cool with this,
Overdrive?
You didn't
We're
know it was
cool with
coming. So this
Okay.
is like I've been a teacher, and so like I still work in the school system.
Yeah, I've
so
already
I
caught on.
kind of like reel in some of the things, these classroom things that we do. So like putting you on a spot in a student teacher kind of way. But we talked about influences with you guys last time. We talked about that with a lot of bands. And then just recently by chance, because it's been 40 years since 1983. I know, right?
Jesus.
So it's significant and a landmark year for hard rock. And you would call classic rock or any kind of rock and roll. So they did a poll of landmark albums of 1983. And Kevin and I went through the poll and we pulled out our top 10. We call the game bottoms up. So from like 10 to 1, what would be if you had to pull 10 albums of what their fans polled as the top 40 albums of 1983, what would they be? So it's kind of like you're picking out favorites.
You're assuming that I even have any recollection of 19.
I'm passing down the list. I got you. I know what we were doing.
I was
I'm going to the principal's office.
I was cheap on the print, but I got 3 of them. So pass one down. So a couple people might have to share.
I was about to start going off the top of my head.
So
Let's see if I was
peruse
right.
through the list there.
Take my glasses.
And I think it's hard to whittle to 10, but I'm going to ask you guys, and don't tell them to each other because we're going to ask live. Because it's going. I'm always interested to see what bands come up with and like how people choose their influences, and then maybe surprise one another, even within your own band.
Is Extreme in there? Is that 83?
Extreme, no, Extreme was
That was
not
later.
83. They were more like 93.
All right.
They were more like 93.
I've already got mine. I don't even need to.
And actually, Ray, I feel like I know already. I was thinking
I
about
already
you,
know.
like right out of the gate. I know one of them. I feel
I
like
didn't
right
even
out of
have
the
to
gate.
look at the rest of the
Because
list.
I've known you for years. I've known you not since 1983, but pretty close.
Yeah, very close.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think I got one of them for you.
And we go back even before.
Are we doing
83.
one, or how
yeah.
many do we have to pull?
3, just three. Just your
Okay.
top,
Top
three. Top 3. So like think of 3, 2, 1. We're going to go bottoms up. That's the name, bottoms up. So bottom 3, then 2, and then 1.
Okay, we got to have Ozzy.
All right,
the
man.
moon.
All right, yeah.
For me,
all right.
Dio.
All right, hold on to it. Just hold on to it in case you need a reference, because it's always interesting to see what people are bringing up. I see like I need like some type of teacher. Are you ready? Symbol. Like a thumb up or some horns.
It's definitely horns.
One of mine is going to blow your minds.
And that could be another thing too. So I will say that when I did my list, I went outside of this list because there's some other albums I knew that I liked from 1983 that were not actually included because this was a listener poll. So this was derived from a listener poll. So there were some things that if you want to throw out another album that came out in 1983 and you're like, damn it, it's not there. That's perfectly fair. I know there's a
ain't
lot of
gonna
great
happen.
albums from '84.
So which Van Halen album was that?
Van Halen was 1984, which came out.
Oh, they had an album before that.
Oh, so Diver Down.
That was
But Diver Down was
81.
yes.
Anything
You're
Van
good,
Halen.
You're good.
83, I was working at Penguin Feather.
Oh, nice.
Dude,
Oh,
that was
nice.
I worked at the
Penguin
warehouse.
Feather.
Up on 28.
No, I worked at the warehouse in Merrifield.
Okay.
And I was returned, so
I got my whippets
caught
from
like
you.
all the returns from all the stores, and I was looking at I was looking at a sealed Leonard Skinner cassette tape, the one with the fire.
Oh.
And my boss comes up, thank you very much. It was still sealed, brand new in the package.
Damn.
And he came in and yanked it out of my hand and said, "Oh, I have so many words I want to say right now." But
I love you still remembering.
they were all HFS heads.
Yeah, oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
the guy who was the Penguin on the commercials, he knew me. I was Metalhead, and he
yeah.
says, "Hey man, they don't want these."
Yeah.
I saw 90125. I was five rows to the stage. I had 3 rows stage for Rush.
Oh,
I had
nice,
all
nice.
killer,
Nice.
because they were like 3rd row stage for Rush.
Yeah.
Happy birthday! I'm like, yes.
We're supposed to be
I was
picking
signaled.
songs, Steve.
Was that at the Capitol Center?
Right. Exactly.
How did I know you did? How did I not know
All right.
that you worked at the?
We'll go down the line. You guys
Feather?
ready? You got number 3. You got number 3 up. We're gonna start with number 3. We'll go 3, 2, 1. So what do you got?
Mine is actually a tie. It would have to be between Queensryche
Okay.
and Triumph.
Nice. Oh, nice. All right. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't pull a Triumph album. That was a close one for me. But Kevin, big Queensryche guy, so that was on your list.
It was in the top 10.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep going down the line. Number 3.
Bark at the Moon.
Oh, Bark at the Moon. So Ozzy. All right, number 3.
I like the Triumph.
All right, Triumph again. All right, yeah, big
Well,
Triumph.
he's such a great singer and songwriter.
Of course.
But if I had to pick another one, or was Vivian Campbell Dio?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So did you guys see the Triumph documentary on? Had a great documentary. I can't remember the name of it either. It was either Netflix, one of the big ones, Netflix or Amazon. It's either one of those. But they revisited Triumph now, like over the past couple years.
I saw a part of it.
Yeah,
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. It's I mean, they're still them. They're still doing what they do.
Rick Emmett, man.
Yeah. And he wasn't hitting those notes, quite like he used to.
No.
Yeah.
But he can still play and sing.
Yeah, I was going to say, but yeah, it was impressive. So they brought not as too much of a spoiler, but they end it by bringing, the super fans, whether we're identified as the super fans, like through their fan group, into a show. And basically, they thought they were going to get a tour of a studio,
right?
And you get an intimate tour of a studio, and then the very last room of the studio is Triumph on stage for them ready to play. It was super slick. Ray, what you got?
There, you ready? Because how I graded albums back in the day, and I still do, is what albums have the best songs all the way through the album.
Sure.
Not just 2 or 3 good songs on the album. The rest of the album sucks.
Yeah.
But, so no, without question, mine ended up...
Just number 3.
Just number 3.
You just want number 3?
No, just number 3.
Oh, we're doing number 3.
Yep.
Number 3 is Accept.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Balls to the wall.
Yeah. All right, yeah.
Good freaking
I'm
album.
not surprised by that. I didn't have that
Fast as a
specifically.
shark.
Right.
Not in my album yet. It's probably your number 1 is what I have for you. I'll yell it out. I was
Maybe.
right.
You might.
My number 3 is Metallica, Kill 'Em All.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, that was a new sound,
Yeah.
and it just... I remember listening to that. I bought the album, brought it into my girlfriend's house, and her dad had like this fucking crushing stereo.
Yeah.
And played it for the first time, and I'll never forget it.
Oh, yeah.
It was mind-melting stuff at the time.
And not much sounded like it.
Yeah, and that was my first. I think Ride the Lightning came out first, right? It was
That was-
that was the first time I had heard Metallica.
Yeah.
It was on that stereo that day, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
put them at number 3, and my other 2 are legendary.
All right, we'll stay with you. We'll go back down the line the opposite direction. So what's your number 2?
Number 2 is gonna be Peace of Mind by Iron Maiden.
All right, yeah.
I mean, that's just legendary album.
Sure. Of course.
You can't.
Right?
Yeah, no words need to be said about that one.
Ray, what you got for your number 2? We'll go down the opposite direction.
So this is really kind of hard, but
No.
And he said peace of mind, so I'm not going to say peace of mind. So I'm going to do my number 2, which would have been that, but it isn't. So I'm going to say that one.
Just don't take my number 1.
Don't take mine.
And I say this because I was in a place called Sam Goody,
Oh, yeah.
and I was with Pete Evick,
Yeah.
and he was there when I bought this album, and it came out, and I just had to have it because of a couple songs on it. But that would be Quiet Riot, Metal
Oh,
Hell,
excellent.
dude.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. Right.
Yep. My number
Look at
one's
that.
going to blow your mind. Dude. I don't think.
I know you're there. I already know it.
This is why we reverse direction. You might have changed the minds.
Number 1.
Okay, yeah. I know. Yeah.
What's your final answer? Ding,
You are
ding,
the
ding,
weakest
ding,
link.
ding.
You are the weakest
And
link.
survey says
For a long time. Right?
What you got for number 2?
Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh,
Which
nice.
spun off one of my favorite bands, The Funk.
Yeah,
What was the name of the
wow.
band?
Wow.
It was Robert Trujillo. The singer.
Infectious Grooves.
Infectious
Yeah,
Grooves.
yeah.
Infectious Grooves, dude.
He's in house.
Fantastic album.
I love it.
Whipped cream.
Mike Muir did it up.
Cranes spinning all over your body. That's right.
Shanker, Built to Destroy.
Okay.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Night Ranger, Midnight Madness.
Yeah.
That
That
was-
was my number 2.
That was like,
Yeah, and I don't know if it influenced, but I saw them the week before that we did our show. And talked about it.
Yeah.
But, and they're still solid live. I mean, just amazing live. Yeah.
yeah, they're awesome. I
Yeah.
saw them open up for Sammy Hagar in the Circle at
Yeah.
Wolf Trap.
Yes, I was
they
at
did
that.
We were at
30
that show.
minutes,
Yeah.
30 minutes, all their top, awesome.
Right.
I mean, just great show.
Right.
Killer show.
Force of energy, like to come out, blast you.
All the
and,
number 1 hits, 30
right,
minutes,
just bang,
boom,
bang,
boom,
bang,
boom,
bang, bang,
off.
bang. Right.
Like,
One after another.
Michael Schenker.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Like number 1s, we'll just take a volunteer. Who wants to volunteer? Or we go back reverse order, however.
Def Leppard.
All right, that was your number one. Your Pyromania. Yeah, that was fantastic. That was my number 3. I had that at number 3. So yeah, that was high up there for me too. Yeah.
Holy diver! He got my.
Did you see his?
He got my number
documentary?
1.
Yes.
That's
yes.
Dio's documentary was incredible. I cried. I was
absolutely.
crying at the end.
Yep.
Dio was the man. Neon Nights is still my all-time favorite first song.
Right.
You know when they say this giant PA, what's the first song you play?
Yeah.
I'd turn that up and
Yeah.
I'd be playing Neon Nights.
Yeah.
He has the one song he did not like doing live because it was one of the hardest songs for him to sing.
Yeah. Oh, really? Huh.
Killer song. I love Neon Nights.
That documentary really spoke to his integrity, though. Like
Oh, it did.
Just the the integrity that he put into all of his songwriting and everything he did musically. I thought that was fantastic.
A friend of mine worked for the House of Blues. He did monitors in Hollywood. And he's a good friend of Pat and I. And Mark Brooks.
Shout out Mark Brooks.
Mark Brooks, killer musician, singer, everything. And he did monitors, and he said that Dio was, Mark is a unique individual. He would get autographs from cats that never gave autographs. But he said Chris Squire and Dio were two of the nicest guys on the planet.
Sure, of
he
course.
said Dio was just like Last Dollar kind of a guy.
Oh,
He just
absolutely.
like,
I met him on the Lock Up the Wolves tour, and there was nobody there. And went backstage, and he found out I was working at the college radio station. He's like, "Hey, man, let's do an interview." I'm like, "I don't have any gear." He's like, "Well, here's my manager's number. Give her a call whenever you want to." Just the nicest guy.
yeah.
Very cool.
Followed
Yeah.
through with that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Followed through with that.
No, I mean,
Yeah. It wasn't hollow.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only saw him once, and that was at Cap Center on the Sacred Heart tour. Which was
That's a strong tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Y&T, Mean Streak, maybe a
great
badass guitar
album.
player,
That's a
very
great
strong,
album.
Yeah.
awesome, strong vocalist, and just killer guitar riffs. They
Y&T at their
badass.
peak.
Yes.
Yes.
In that time period. Yeah.
I really want to know what you think it is.
Oh, Peace of Mind, Iron Maiden. I've always known you for Iron Maiden.
And you're 100% minus about 2 because and I had,
You're 98, buddy. That means
I
98.
had to hide this because
I
I
knew
didn't
it.
want my
Milli
and
Vanilli.
He knew
I
he's
knew
been
it.
paying attention to me long enough.
Girl, you know it's true.
Merciful fate, baby.
Really?
I still love the Lord
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So Ray, I mean, so like my when I first saw you, even before I first talked to you, like you were that guy. Like I felt like a little bit of like a poser glam metal guy. And then you were the thrash Iron Maiden. I think you had an Iron Maiden T-shirt every time I saw you.
Pretty much.
And I'm like, that guy's going to want to kick my ass because he's just like one of those. He's like a thrash guy, and I'm
Now
like,
you got him.
exactly, yeah. Right. He just thinks I'm the biggest dork on the planet,
at
like
all,
walking
man.
by. You were like, you had the, it was always the black, and it was heavy, and so of course, Merciful Fate like falls into that too.
And it does. I just
Yeah.
had to hide it because, like earlier and earlier with Black Sabbath stuff, and my mom and dad dragged me to these things that talked about backmasking and even Peace of Mind, actually. And if you play it backwards, it says Satan wants your soul. It was never true. That was just
Right,
a whole bunch of
exactly,
made up
right,
shit. But yeah, no, that whole album from beginning to end was just freaking phenomenal. The
Yeah.
guitar work, the drums, everything about it was just badass. But you know what? Peace of Mind, man. It is a great album.
98%. I'll take a 98.
All right, Mike, come on. We're all
That's
waiting.
it.
It's still an A,
That's
teacher.
what I'm saying. Exactly. I'll take a 98.
Just because Steve picked it, I can't go with another number 1. Holy Diver.
All right.
From that opening riff of Stand Up and Shout through Shame on the Night.
Vivian
I mean,
Campbell, baby.
that whole
Yeah,
album
Vivian
is
Campbell.
fucking incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
True story.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
I do have a question about 83.
Yeah.
What was Boston releasing around that time?
That's a good question.
Because when I was at Penguin Feather, a guy that I
go to the
work with,
judge.
he said, hey, get this. He said, hey, I got tickets to Aerosmith in Boston at Merriweather, 3rd row stage. Do you want to go? I'm like, I don't know. Yes.
I heard this thing.
And Boston came on, and the only band that I've seen live that does as good or better was, yes, 90125. Boston slayed. And Aerosmith came out and was on point, they were on their game, but couldn't hold. I'm glad I saw Boston because they were just like, they had me crying.
How
and they
did
were
we
so
get over
good.
to that from Dio, man?
Well, I went to a Boston concert. It was like 83 maybe or 82, 83.
Yeah.
So I was just curious did they,
So I'm looking at the discography. And also we were only looking at studio albums, so not live albums. So that's just another bend or even an EP. So it's just full length
could have
studio
been 82,
albums. So Boston jumps from Don't Look Back in 1978 to Third Stage in 1986.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
They must have just been on tour or something because,
Yeah,
that was
forever.
a foggy.
They were been
that was
on
a foggy year.
hiatus.
83.
right.
Working at Penguin Feather, a little foggy there.
Yeah. For me, like along those lines, in a classic rock way, like for me personally, was Journey Frontiers. That was
Yeah.
1983 with, and I don't know, like if you guys have heard, like I'm in love with Separate Ways has been redone by Lizzie Hale and Chris Daughtry.
Oh my!
And
Killer.
they
That
brought
is
it up.
so amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. You forget how, like, obviously it's a great song. You forget how great the song is, but then you got two great new performers playing it. And it's solid.
Man, that song is
I
not
have
easy.
not heard that. I need to hear
exactly.
that.
Still, Boston, Brad Delp, dude.
I,
You just
I heard the
can't.
He's on a
theme.
Boston kick.
The theme was I worked at Penguin Feather, and somebody asked me if I want to go to a concert.
Hey, man, I saw great because they were all listening to HFS.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want to go to a Killer concert? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to drive, so I was smooth riding the whole way and back.
Yeah.
I mean, just, you got within 5 rows of the stage and you're seeing Aerosmith and Boston.
Yep.
And
Best-
Boston was just 100% killer.
Best,
they
live,
were right on.
best live band in the 80s to me were the Scorpions, man.
Yeah.
Saw them
Scorpions
too.
I
was
saw them in
fucking
Cap Center,
perfect
too.
There's your
every
next
time.
list.
But so that's
Best live.
84, right? Was Love at First Sting? I feel like that was 84.
Something like that.
Yeah.
What year was Blackout?
That would have been
70,
before.
like
83 or
81
82.
or something.
Yeah.
Out.
All right.
There's your next question. Best live band in the 80s. As far as asking people, because that's just like, everyone has like, well, I'm not a fan, but man, I saw them and they were like, like to me, Boston, Rock Act, Boston.
Yeah.
Nobody can touch them. Aerosmith, nobody.
Pink
But
Floyd.
it's so broad. That's so hard because there's
It
different
is.
phases of
Pink
the 80s,
Floyd couldn't
right?
touch
I mean,
it.
that's why we brought it down to 83 just because it was 40 years ago.
Right.
And there's a lot of great bands that were playing in the
Yeah.
80s.
But they were all so there was different styles. I mean, like Judas Priest. I've seen them
Yes.
so many times it's not even funny. Yeah. But
Solar
then you go and
Angels.
you listen to Pink Floyd.
Solar Angels.
Pink Floyd was still doing The Wall in the
Yeah,
80s.
yep.
The early 80s. So I don't know, man.
Dude, Pink Floyd
That was
live is an
some pretty good live
experience.
music. Their music was perfect, and the
Every
show was
single time.
incredible.
The pig used to fly across, man.
That was a pig.
And then you got to see its its tails.
I think we've done some of these bottoms up, like with other groups and stuff. We found the same thing. That you guys, there's a lot of overlap. Like everything you guys, the way that you're talking, we see that overlap and influence. It was
I mean,
always
there was
really
a
cool.
Amen.
ton of great bands playing in the 80s live.
Yeah.
When did John Bonham die?
80.
The year I had tickets to go see him.
So they were playing in
Damn
the
you,
80s.
Johnny.
What's funny
For real.
about the Capitol Center is a friend of mine was working for the group that when they were tearing it down, he was working for the group that was, tearing everything down.
Sure.
Well, if you ever remember a concert at the Capitol Center,
Oh, yeah.
or at least a couple minutes of it, they always had microphones hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And he's got all kinds of reel-to-reels. They recorded every single show on tape.
Huh.
The Capitol Center did.
The Bayou did that too.
Oh, man. I mean, I saw Trower at the Bayou. I mean, that was just, there was a lot of great, but can you imagine all the acts that were at the Capitol
yeah,
Center?
of
And they
course.
just, we recorded and we just didn't tell them.
Right.
They're on reel-to-reel. I'm like, I'd like to get them reel-to-reel.
Right. Right.
No, the Capitol Center had some shitty sound.
If you were up
bad.
close. If
You know
were
what?
within the
Unless
first
you were
10
up
rows.
if
It,
you were up
it really
front.
depended on who you were seeing.
That's true. Whoops.
I saw Rat and Bon Jovi at the Cap
I was
Center.
there.
Yes.
And out in the hallway, Rat sounded so much better than actually being inside.
It was a sport. It's a sports venue.
ZZ Top,
Yeah.
Eliminator,
Yeah.
Killer.
Yes.
They They were awesome.
And that was on my top 10 list. I had to include ZZ Top.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
that's
they were
the-
killer live.
Musically, to me, that's when I started playing drums. And ZZ Top Eliminator had that. That's why
The groove, the Frank Beard
that's
groove.
That's where I cut my teeth playing drums. Was
Sure.
that and like some AC/DC albums and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's an influential album to me.
Yeah.
I would think.
Named Beard, and he doesn't have a beard.
The only one,
Now
in,
it
the
does.
only one in the band with that beard.
Right.
They can sport this little scruff nowadays.
Yeah,
Especially with what's his name, the bass player now. With
Oh,
who's,
yeah.
who's just
Dusty
like
Hill, yeah.
no.
Well, the new one, right, yeah.
He was the guitar tech. That,
Oh, yes.
that he
Yeah.
would fill in when
Dusty passed,
yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I did see him though. I saw them at Wolf Trap a few years ago. There was the year before their 50th. They did their whole 50th lineup as far as set, and ZZ Top opened for John Fogerty,
Oh.
and ZZ Top was just on point.
It's an odd
But-
pairing.
But surprisingly, John Fogerty, for a guy in his 70s
Okay.
playing with his kids, incredible.
We are getting a message that
Message.
you guys are needed on stage, that we were talking to you for far too long. But you guys are easy to talk to.
Hey man. I love talking.
All right.
I know.
We're having so much fun.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know,
It's that Monster Energy drink. I'm telling you.
It's the exactly.
It's fueling
We
everything.
feed them. Yep. We
Well,
feed
before you
them
guys
Monster.
take off, where are you playing next? Where are you heading to? I know I've seen you guys at the Electric Palm a lot.
That's pretty much our home club. We're on
Deck
vacation
Jam.
there.
Where is next?
Deck
we
Jam.
got-
Deck Jam.
Yeah, the
Deck
deck,
Jam.
the Deck Jam. It is a private party held every year at my house. This will be
Nice.
This will be year number 7, August 12th, and you guys are invited.
Absolutely.
I love
We
it.
play
All right,
outside,
all right.
food, fun. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on out.
All right.
It's
Big
a
time
throwdown.
food.
Yeah.
And then we have a bunch of stuff this fall, but that's our only thing. And I think that's it.
September 10th, another private pool
Yeah,
party.
we got
Okay.
a bunch of private stuff coming up.
Aren't we somewhere in October?
Yeah, we're back at the
We're back at the
I think we're
Palm.
probably in October. Back here, I think.
November.
We're back here
Okay.
in November.
It'll be my birthday show here with us and a band called the
All right.
Darby Brothers.
All right.
Medicine Man official.
We love you,
Medicine
man.
Man official.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
Facebook.
All right.
Medicine
All
Man
right.
official.
Rock and
And
roll.
we'll talk
Love
to
you
you
guys.
guys.
You
We're
will.
not
Always
done.
good to see your faces, guys.
Of course. We love you
Amen.
guys.